what we do is we walk around here, we bring the people here. Now the piano, this is an illusion. We have the illusion here that comes right down in this section, and then this actually.
So it's actually a real piano? No,
actually it's not real. And we have stuff in here like the fireplace that we added in this bar, but these are all antique dolls, some of which have been said to be haunted. Some of these dolls are also said to do things, move on
They're
their own.
actually creepier than some of the...
Yes, they are. Some people have a phobia.
I have a phobia on freaking doll heads.
It's like we're doing a museum, but it's not quite finished yet. And we have a gentleman in here who is a very good actor, and we have.
In here is
this is not real, but
No.
it's our this is would be what it would look like to have a vampire kit and a werewolf kit that they would have sold back in the days to, or would manufactured to ward off vampires, or in this case the vampires, in this case the werewolves over here. You have no, it's vice versa actually. This is the vampire and that's the werewolf. Is your wooden stakes, your gun with the silver bullets in it, and Bibles and rosary, of course, if you're Catholic, you know what that is. But and then this is a demon child that we act as a gentleman who makes these. He only makes so many every year, and we asked him to make us one, and he made us one, because you have to show. This may be for you as a person who told me you were afraid of Satan. May be probably the most scariest thing in here, but to me it's just something that somebody made. That's where we watch everything and monitor everything from, pretty much.
Wow.
This part of the building was we could not get any type of equipment down here because of the closeness of the area. So this was all done by hand. It took quite a while to dig this section under, and if you would notice, if you go down here, you said we're underground. Right behind you is the drain where we have the sump pump that will pump this out if it ever gets water in it. We've been very fortunate so far that we have not had any water down here, but
So is that like real gravel and stuff
that's
in there?
real mud,
So
real
that's
gravel.
like really like that, you know, just kind of decorated
No,
as you...
ma'am. Just the thing about it is that we added all of these bones and added all of this, but
Wait,
if
you
you
added-
turn around, right here, this is real. You know, we can't fake the real. This is what the real mud looked like here when we were digging it. It's more harder here than it is in most places in the city. I mean, if you're from New Orleans, you know the term. It's called gumbo mud. Gumbo mud is what we have here. It's sticky, it sticks together, it sticks to everything. But for some reason, this is more like a gravel when we were digging this. But remember what I told you earlier when we were upstairs? I brought to your attention the fact that we were that close to that graveyard.
Mhm.
Well, right here, when you're standing right here, at this point, you're probably, I'd say, maybe 60 feet from the closest tomb that's buried over there. And remember, we don't bury our bodies very deep here, so
No, we
they're
don't.
probably buried about right here, and you're walking parallel with those buried bodies. So that's kind of an interesting thing to think about. That
Interesting.
most time, people don't know that when they come through the haunt, but if we have time to tell people about it, if we're bringing them through, we can explain that to them. But I think this, to me, is one of the more scarier places in the building because it's so closed in, and you're actually under the building.
You're actually under the cemetery.
You're in parallel with the cemetery, walking with it, and also under the actual building. And as you walk around, you'll see that all of the holes drilled in the walls, we tried to figure out what they were, and I think we asked the engineer, and the engineer said the only thing he could figure it was
Termites.
probably for termites.
Yes.
They drilled that for termites.
Because that's pretty much how they do it to
Right.
get in there. Because
And they dug that for the termites. So all of this is added, of course, for the haunt to give it more of a creepy effect. But again, it is real. If you probably can almost touch up here, it's the actual beams of the building up above your head. Can you reach up there? See, you almost can. There you go. So you can touch it. And that's just a effect.
yeah.
Didn't turn it on, luckily. If you didn't turn it on, we really would
Turn them off.
That's just, what you're just getting is the strobe light effect. The other stuff isn't working luckily. But this is the part of the building, as I was telling the young lady earlier, that I feel was kind of one of the scariest parts because of the fact that you're under the building and you have that closed in feeling, and it's just, to me, it's scarier than
It's
most.
definitely creepy.
Yes, it is. You
It's
see?
definitely
Now,
creepy.
then you agree.
You got me sold on that one.
Okay. This is electromagnetic field. This is a electromagnetic detection device. This is going to
Oh, he
pick
knows.
up
Oh,
any
okay.
electromagnetic fields that have been generated.
Oh, we're gonna keep my finger on there?
No, you can usually just hold it in your hand, and if it goes to the caution of the danger, then it means you're in something. Then you're picking something up.
What about this one?
Is that the
That's the
thermometer?
Thermometer.
the infrared
And
thermometer.
use
That's an infrared thermometer. Again, that's going to look for differences in temperature, and whatever you point it at, it's generally going to pick up the differences in temperature.
You gotta press the buttons though.
She's pressing the button
I'm
now.
pressing the button.
And if you point it at different things, you're going to notice the temperature changing, because of course temperature. Point it at Lance and see what happens. See, now Lance is hotter than the rest of the building because he's projecting heat, just as you will. If you point it at yourself, you pick up your heat, your body heat.
And usually when you pick up something that's to do with paranormal activity, you're generally colder.
Right.
And what temperature would that be at?
It varies, but it's gonna, if the general temperature in the area is say in the 70s and you see a spike going down to like the 60s or lower, then you know it's not normal. And then that would create a chance to do more investigation.
Wow. Yeah.
So, you know, they told me down here earlier that they actually found bone fragments,
Yeah.
which is interesting. Washing and then moving from the old cemeteries. Trying to see if we can get a change in temperature anywhere.
And I'm not getting anything on this either.
What are y'all
Now
getting?
it's gone back up. It was up at, yeah,
I mean, nothing personal.
was at
I'm
seven-
not crawling up in there. It's
No.
not gonna happen.
but it was up at 77 and it's now at 75 down to 74.8. So it is dropping. 73 over there.
It's creepy.
So what's happening on your meter? Anything
Nothing.
happening?
Nothing. But I'm not
It's
crawling up
interesting.
in there to find out if
No.
it goes off.
But look, if I go back up in here, look at how distinct that temperature change is. From 77 down to 73 in some places. Look, right there, 73.4 and dropping. What do you think?
Well, you can actually, it feel kind of like a breeze. You can see the things moving, the kind of like a breeze.
But
is
aren't we
coming
underground?
through. We are underground.
So where would the breeze be coming from?
That I don't know.
That's an interesting question, isn't it? That's a very interesting question.
Yeah.
And why is it so low right over there
I don't
in
know.
particular?
I don't know. I know that I think this part he said is under the cemetery.
And the ground is very, it looks 73.72, from 77 to 72, just going back up in the air. So there certainly is a massive, I mean, you know, a 4 or 5 degree temperature change.
Why don't you crawl back up there and see what you get?
No. You know, what if I found a bone fragment or something like that? You know, you just never know. I don't think it's wise to disturb the graves of the dead. Look at that. I mean, look at the difference. Right here, I'm at 75.7. I go back here, and immediately I'm at 72.1.
And the only thing I can think of is that when I lived in Cincinnati, the basements were actually always cooler. You didn't even have AC in the basements. They naturally just stayed cooler.
But why here?
Because of the opening?
Maybe so. Maybe there's some air circulating.